Today's episode of Craft and Chat goes from Crochet Catastrophe to Colour Calamity. Keep watching. Hi everyone, welcome to our Crazy Life Scotland. My name's Fiona and this is another Craft and Chat video, or at least it should be. In today's video I was going to show you how I weave in the ends of my crochet projects and join together the big Christmas blanket that I've been working on for a couple of years. So I did film myself weaving in the ends of this panel. So that's the back, and as you can see, you can hardly see any of the ends, and that is the front. So I filmed all that, and then I filmed looking at how the blanket would go together, and I was about to start filming joining them together when I realised that it's not going to work. And the reason it's not going to work is it's a corner to corner crochet blanket, and if anybody wants to know how to do corner to corner crochet, let me know, because I love it. It's my favourite type of crochet. And there's there's a few types of corner to corner you can do now that I've discovered, but the two main types that I always did was the normal corner to corner and the mini corner to corner. They're the same stitch, they're just slightly different. So one ends up smaller, the other ends up bigger. Like I say, I've been doing this blanket over the course of a couple of years, and it's all crocheted in separate panels and then it all gets joined together. However, when I came to join it all together, I realised I had crocheted one of the squares twice and I hadn't crocheted one of the other squares, if you know what I mean. I thought I had enough because I counted them and there was the right amount, but then I discovered I'd actually crocheted one twice. That's the problem with doing it over a long period of time. So I went away and I re-crocheted this panel. It was this one here. And when I came to put it all together, I realised that I'm going to put them on top of each other to show you how they should join. So this is how I should join them. I was going to, they're outside in, so this is the back side, that's the back side. So the front sides are together, and I was going to single crochet all the way along here. Then I discovered, wait a minute, why is that panel so much bigger than the other one? That's not going to work. And I discovered that I had obviously been doing the majority of the blanket in the mini corner to corner, and I did that one in the normal corner to corner. So I don't know how many other panels are going to be wrong, and I've decided that rather than ripping it all out and starting again, I'm going to give it up as a bad job. But the good thing about these is they were designed so that the majority of them can be standalone. So I could turn this into like a wall hanging or a cushion cover, something like that. And I think that's what I might do, because that one there would make like quite a nice, even a placemat at the Christmas table. This one wouldn't really, because the panel that I just showed you, that's the rest of his hat. But you could probably get away with it as like a table runner or something. But as it is no longer going to be a big blanket because I messed up. So what I am going to do the next time I start a big project like that is I'm going to write it all down and keep a bit of paper in beside it so that I know what colours I'm using, what stitch I'm using, what panels I've done, because it's just a nightmare. Oh, anyway, this Craft and Chat video is clearly not going to be about crochet anymore. I was hoping to be able to show you putting the Harry Potter diamond painting clock on the frame and things, but I've not got the frame for that yet. So I'm just going to improvise, and I'm going to show you something that I don't know if you would really class as a craft, because it's not something that I tend to display afterwards, but it is a hobby that I really enjoy, and it's one that I forgot about because I got so into my cricket and the resin and all the rest of it. I completely forgot about adult colouring. And a few people have spoken about it in the comments recently, and I thought, do you know what? I could really enjoy doing that again because I used to love it. So because I've had bad headaches recently and I've not been able to do much crochet, crochet on the brain, I've not been able to do much cross stitch because it's so tiny and my head's sore. So that's what I normally do when I'm sitting watching telly with Jack. So I decided to get my colouring books out, and I have really been enjoying it again. It's only been the last couple of days, but I've really enjoyed it. And I was actually going to sell a lot of my colouring books at a car boot sale, but thankfully I had kept one in here because it was a Christmas one, and you know how much I love Christmas crafts. And the others I was planning to sell are up the loft. So I'm going to ask my husband very nicely if he'll go up the loft today to get them down for me, because there's a few different kinds of adult colouring. It doesn't have to just be colouring in a page or a pattern. There's a few different ways of doing it which I really enjoy. So I thought I would show you that in this video today. So until I get the other ones down, let me show you what I've been doing the last couple of days. Sorry if you can hear a funny noise, the washing machine's on, it sounds like it's going to take off. So the one that I've been doing the last couple of days is this Christmas mandalas book. Mandalas can be really good for colouring because it's like repetitive patterns, and I like that. I don't like to have to think too much when I'm colouring, and don't get me wrong, I am no expert colouring artist, I don't know. I don't do blending and things like that. I did try it when I was right into colouring and it was a disaster. So I don't do that, but I just love especially repetitive patterns, because you're just like, right, I've got one colour and I'm going to use this for that, that and that. It's a good couple of years, I think, since I stopped colouring, and I used to really enjoy doing it in the caravan, and somebody mentioned it to me. I'm really sorry, I can't remember who it was, in the comments, saying that when they go on holiday they take their colouring with them. And I thought, do you know, I used to love doing that. So this is one that I had started ages ago. Look at the snowman. But when I did this, I don't know if you can see or not, it was glitter gel pens that I used for a lot of it, and I loved the Poundland glitter gel pens. I've not got any now. So I was actually at Poundland on Thursday with Jack, and if I'd known then that I was going to start colouring again, I would have picked more up because they're fab, and I would probably have picked up another colouring book as well. But it was the next day that I decided to start doing it again. So I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to start colouring that with my alcohol markers because I have got a lot of glitter gel pens. But do you see what I mean about the pattern? I just think that's lovely. But I'll show you the ones that I coloured the last couple of days. And again, what I love about colouring is you can use your artistic licence to use whatever colours you want. You don't need to stick to reality, do you? So I did this one. This is the first one that I did on Friday, I think it was. And I think it's turned out okay. The colours aren't the best, maybe, on the wee bear. But it's just a wee teddy bear, and there's parcels going round it and little, I don't know what they're meant to be, Christmas ornaments maybe, candy canes. And yeah, that was just alcohol markers. I'll show you them in a second. So I enjoyed doing that. And the one that I just did yesterday, well, last night, was that one. Happy New Year! And again, look, it's all repetitive patterns, and it's nice small areas. I don't like having to colour big areas, it puts me off. So yeah, I really did like it. Now, one thing you need to think about when you're using alcohol markers is it does tend to go over the page. I mean, that's almost identical. That's the back side of the page and that's the front side. So it does go through. So I would, if I were you, look out for books like that that have got blank pages on the opposite side of the design, because if you colour in that one and then turn the page over, if there was another design there, you wouldn't be able to colour it in because your alcohol markers would go through, unless you use pencil or crayon or something like that. But I would also always suggest that you put a bit of paper in between your pages because, again, that was just going through the paper that I was colouring on. So it saves the design on the next page getting ruined as well. So I'll show you the markers that I was using. That's the back of the book. This was Amazon I got it from, I think. And yeah, it's by Camelia Angelkova. And when I was right into colouring, I followed a lot of people on YouTube who do adult colouring. And that was one of the people who was recommended in a lot of those channels. She's got a lot of books out, and it's sort of mandala type, which was fab. But the alcohol markers I used in that was the Ohuhu markers. I love the name. And I got these again ages ago. They were quite expensive on Amazon, but not as expensive as like your proper Posca and whatever the other ones are that people use. I wasn't going to go that expensive, but they were more expensive than the ones that you would buy out at Asda sort of thing. But it was a big amount of pens and a good range of colours that are in them. So that's the alcohol markers that I use. And that's basically all that I can tell you at the moment and show you at the moment. I will wait until Jack's up because it's early in the morning. Brooke's just away to school. I will kindly ask him to go up the loft to get my other books so that I can show you the other types of colouring that I like to do. And yes, I'll come back to you then. Okay, I'm back. I have now got the other books that I was talking about, so I'm going to show you them. Just because if you're into adult colouring, or maybe like me, you used to do it and you got a bit fed up with it, it's a good way of changing things up a bit and just doing something a little bit different. And if you're someone like me that's not really good at, you know, blending colours and knowing what colour to use, these are a really good way of colouring where you don't really have to think about it. So let me show you. So the first one is, this one's Amazing Dogs, but it's a mosaic coloured by number. And as you can see, that is the effect that you get when it's coloured. So I have got some in here that I've coloured, but I'll show you some that aren't coloured first. So this one is all dogs, and that is what the picture looks like before you colour it. And on the opposite page it has got a colour key, so it tells you which number you colour with which colour. Now, one thing I don't like about it is it's a lot of colours. I mean, there's 17 different colours in there, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different browns. And if you're like me and got a limited supply, it's like, I've not got that many browns. But if that's the case, what I was doing was I was just making some of them the same colour. It doesn't matter, it just doesn't get the shading that the artist intended. But to be honest, it is just a very enjoyable way of colouring, because as you can see, it's small sections at a time you're colouring as well. And if you only want to do it for half an hour and then put it away, you always know where you are when you get back to it. But what I did do, what I'm going to do is I'll show you some that I have coloured and give you an idea. So there's one that I've coloured. Now, as you can see, the yellow that I had probably wasn't the best. I think that's meant to be a retriever. So the yellow colour that I used maybe wasn't the best. And you might see as well, what I've done on there, the lines in between the colours are white. But one of the people that I watched on YouTube always liked to colour those bits in with like a glitter gel pen, and I liked the effect, so that's what I had done there as well. It does take a bit longer to finish the picture, but I think it looks nice. Now, I haven't done anything on that page to tell me what colour I was using for what number, so I think I was maybe doing that all in one go. And this is another example where the alcohol marker goes through to the other page, but it's okay because that's only the key and you can still see it. Just remember to put another blank bit of paper in between so it doesn't go through like that. And that's basically where I was colouring in on the other page, and it went right through. I forgot to put a bit of paper in, so now that picture's pretty much redundant. This is what I'm meaning. So again, the colours aren't great, I don't think, but I do like the picture. But what I did here was I put that I was using my Ohuhu pens, that's the ones that I showed you earlier, and beside each colour I put the number of the pen, because each pen in the Ohuhu set's got a number on the top, and that way if I went away and then came back to it, I knew exactly what pen I was using for what number, and that is a really good way of doing it. There's one here as well that I coloured in pencil rather than pen, and I think that worked out nice as well. So you can do it any way you want, and I also left the lines in between white in that one. There is another picture, and that's done in pencil. I quite like that, and again I just did a little sort of swatch of each pencil beside the colour name. On the back of these books there's a colour key, and that shows you what they mean by each colour. So when I was talking about all the different browns, they're not together though, that's the only thing. Light orange is next to dark brown, and then there's dark blue next to medium brown, and then there's chocolate, and but it does give you an idea of what they were intending each colour to look like. So that is the Mosaic Colour by Number, and that's by Colour Questopia. They've got a big range of this type of book out, and again they're on Amazon, I think. Another one that's quite similar is this one, Mystery Mosaics, and this one is by the Belba Family, which is another big publisher that does a lot of this type of book. And again on the back it's got the key, and it's got an example of the colour beside it. I quite like the way they've done it here, and there's 22 colours, which isn't too bad. And then when you actually go into it, what I like about these is it's small squares, rather than with that one it was different sort of patterns that they used. With this one it's small squares. So first of all I'm going to let you see what it looks like without being coloured, to give you an idea of why it's called Mystery Mosaics. I'm trying to get one that's going to be a good example. So that is what the picture looks like before you colour it in. Whoops! You can see a wee bit what it's going to be on the camera. It's easier to see on the camera than it is in real life. But each tiny little square has got a number in it. Hopefully you'll be seeing that okay. And the key is along the bottom to tell you what colour to do each number. And like I say, the squares are tiny, and you might think to yourself, oh my god, that would be a nightmare to colour. But one of the things that I really liked about this was being able to use what Lisa from Lisa's Colouring Corner calls the cross stitch method. And that is, look, rather than actually fully colouring the square, you just put a little X in whatever colour it is. I'll show you it closer up, like that. So it looks like a cross stitch, and I think that gives a really good effect. This is one that I did in the caravan actually. I remember doing it and it was great. So that is what it looks like if you do the cross stitch method. What I do like as well is the back of each page is black, so you don't get any bleed through. I would still put a bit of paper in between just in case, but I do like that you don't get bleed through. This is another one that I did the cross stitch method. Isn't that very cute? This is one that I didn't do the cross stitch method. I just used alcohol marker and I coloured each square in fully. And like I say, if you've not got the colour you're looking for, just use whatever colour you want. As long as you use the same colour for each of the, like for all the same number. And I think that's turned out nice as well. There's another cross stitch one. I love that one, the elephant. I think that's turned out really nice. And again, it's just so relaxing. You know, you can do it while you're watching the telly, or I don't know, like when we're in the caravan, I'll be chatting away to people and still doing it because you don't really need to think. And some of them are landscape rather than portrait. Look at the wee pigs. And the other good thing that I like for them is it's a good distraction, A, from eating, because my hands are busy. I'm not, like when I watch a telly, I want to be doing something with my hands, and 9 out of 10 times I just pick up food so that I've got something to do with them. But if you've got something like this, your hands are busy anyway. Look at that one, the fish. Again, that's a cross stitch. But the other good thing that I like about it is it's a good distraction from the pain. If, like me, you suffer from chronic pain, it's a good way of focusing your mind on something else and you're still aware of the pain, but because you're distracted, it's not the only thing you're thinking about. And that's what I really like about colouring. That one was all done in alcohol marker as well, the koala. And that wasn't the cross stitch method, that was actually colouring in each square. Like I say, I'm not the best colourer in the world, but I enjoy it, and that's a good thing about it. It's only for me. I'm not going to do anything with it. It's not like my other crafts where I'm selling them, so I need them to be perfect and, you know, I need to make sure that it's all done properly. Whereas this, it's not a big deal because it's just something that I'm doing, and then I can look back on them and think, oh, I remember doing that, I enjoyed that. I mean, if you want, you can take them out, you can display them if it's one that you're particularly proud of. There's another one that I used alcohol marker and coloured it all in rather than doing the cross stitch. So it's very, very effective. That's, I think, what I'm trying to get at. And there's loads of them left still to be coloured, which is brilliant. And another one along those lines, it's pretty much the same idea as that Mystery Mosaics, is the, I don't know if it's Hatchet or Hachette. Again, it's another range, but they're French. And this one is Disney Babies. And it is, again, just lots of squares with numbers in them. And this one gives you the key along the top of each page. But what you will notice with this one is there's a picture on all of the pages, which is great value. But, oh, there's one that I did. Look. It's great value, but the only problem is if you're doing it with alcohol markers, you need to be careful that it's not going to go through to the other side. Not sure what ones I used there because it has, oh, do you know what? Do you know why that hasn't gone through? That's glitter gel pens that I've used. So it hasn't gone through at all. And there you go, up here, I've written which pen it was that I was using. I've not got them now, unfortunately. I definitely want to get more gel pens because they're great for that, especially one like this that's double-sided. You can't use the alcohol marker unless you want to just sacrifice the page behind. But because with this one, you don't know what the picture's going to be, so you don't know if you want to sacrifice it or not. I did have another one that I got down, but this is one that I'm still going to get rid of because it looks gorgeous on the outside, colour beauty, but on the inside I'm not actually keen on a lot of the pictures. I think a lot of them look quite, I don't know, not young, but they're not my sort of cup of tea. But what I will say with this one is, I did colour a picture with alcohol markers. This one was a mixture of alcohol markers and gel pens, as you can see. So again, it was a pattern and I could just relax and follow the pattern. It doesn't tell you what colours to do or anything, but look at the other side. Everywhere I've used the alcohol marker, it's gone through to the other side. But before I coloured it in, I looked to see what this picture was and thought, I'm not going to want to do that one anyway, so I don't mind sacrificing it. Whereas with the Disney Baby one, you don't know what the other pictures are, so you don't want to sacrifice it. But I think I'm out tomorrow, I'm hopefully going to get some more gel pens so that I can start doing this again because I loved it. Let me see, there was another one, another couple actually that I had done in here. Yeah, look at this one. Look, with Bambi and Thumper, and you can't really see it on the camera, but the gel pen was glittery and there's little glittery bits everywhere. It's so nice. But I really like the way that the picture comes out. Look, there's Eeyore and Piglet, and is that a baby Mickey Mouse? I'm not sure. But it's all Disney characters, Disney babies in this book. Hence the reason it's called Disney Babies. Oh, duh. And I think that's some more examples on the back as well of what the pictures are going to be. So yeah, I really like them. Now the last type I've got to show you is, now this is the Frozen 2 one, but I've also got a Stranger Things one. and it's dots, lines and spirals. So I'll show you what the pictures look like. There we go. There's a picture. It just looks like a whole load of spirals, doesn't it? But I'll show you one completed. It's hard to see in this one, but oh no, it's not in the camera. Look, that's what it looks like when it's complete. So that's an Elsa. Obviously I didn't know when I started doing that one that it was going to be Elsa. And you can use whatever you want to colour it in. Again, that was alcohol marker. So it went through to the back, but the back pages are blank, so it's okay. The problem is I forgot to put a bit of paper in, and look, you need to remember your paper if you're using alcohol markers. So that's the spirals. The dots, it's easier to see what the picture's going to be. So you can see there exactly what the picture's going to be, but once it's actually coloured in, it's really nice. I'll find one with dots that's been coloured in. And the idea with it is that you only use the one colour. You don't use a whole load of different colours. So that's a good thing. You basically just need the one pen and you go with it. Look. So that one was just a whole page of dots, and that's what it looks like when it's coloured. So that's the spirals and the dots. I'll show you one with the lines. So that is what the lines look like when they're blank. And I'll show you what it's like when they're coloured in. Don't ask me the characters' names because I did watch Frozen quite a lot when Brooke was wee, but I've not watched it for years. But there we go, that's what the lines look like when they're coloured. And it makes you feel like an artist. I know that sounds silly, but to go from something like that, that's just a blank bit of paper, to that, it's like, oh, look what I drew. You didn't. All you did was follow the lines. It's basically, it's tiny little lines, and you just colour in each alternate line, and that's what gives you the picture. So that was the Frozen one. The Stranger Things one, I really enjoyed doing. I can't believe I was going to sell these for like 50 pence because I so enjoyed doing them. And there's one that was coloured in. Look at that. That was the very first one in this book. And look, that's an excellent picture of a living, isn't it? I just think that's fab. And it shows you here, that's where you start. And basically with the spiral one, wherever you start, you just follow it right round. So again, there's a white line in between each coloured line, and that's how you get the picture. The darker bits are because the lines are closer together. The lighter bits are because the lines are further apart. It's really clever. Really, really clever. I actually did one in vinyl. Hold on. These are called Spiral Betties. There's a website online that you can go to and you put in whatever picture you want and it turns it into one of those spiral pictures for you. And that's one that I did in vinyl of Lomond, our cat. Isn't that cool? I mean, that's vinyl. That hasn't been coloured in. And I think that's really cool. So you can do this effect with your Cricut and vinyl. Fab. Anyway, back to the colouring. There's another one. The spirals were my favourite at this point because there's other ones that I've kind of started and given up on. With this one, that pen ran out, so I was changing to another pen that I thought, no, I don't like it. But again, these are lines, but they're diagonal rather than horizontal. It doesn't matter what way they are. There's a lines one that hasn't been started. What else? There's another lines one that's been completed. There's a dots one that's been completed. How cool are they? They're really, really cool. Now, I've written down back then, there was a whole load of these ones. Obviously, this is Stranger Things. But the same company, now who is it that does these ones? It doesn't say who it was, who the publisher is. I like that one as well, that's Hopper. Can't wait for the new series of Stranger Things to come on. Any of you like Stranger Things? I love it. Love it, love it. Back then, which would have been a couple of years ago, there was One Direction, Harry Potter, Disney characters, animals, The Simpsons. So there's loads of stuff. Like I said, I just went on Amazon and typed them all in. If I can find links for any of these, I'll pop them in the description below. But I was having a look last night and I basically just typed in dots, lines and spirals and it came up with a whole load. And I typed in mystery mosaics. And the other thing, if you type in Belba Family or Sun Life drawings, I'm pretty sure they do mosaics as well. Colour Questopia, that was the other one. If you type them into Amazon, if you're interested, it will bring all of the series of books up for you. So that is what I thought I would talk to you about today. Since my crochet was a disaster, I have since started corner to corner crocheting a different blanket, so I will show you that in a different series, in a different episode of Craft and Chat. But I hope you've enjoyed this. I know it's different. I'm sorry it's not a tutorial, but I don't want to just keep doing Cricut things all the time, because there's a lot of people out there who watch my videos that don't have a Cricut and don't want to be cutting vinyl or making t-shirts and things like that. So I do want to kind of mix it up now and again. If you want me to actually do a tutorial on using any of these books, or if you want me to even chat to you while I'm showing you me colouring in, because I quite enjoy watching that kind of video as well, I find it relaxing, then I'm happy to do that. So just let me know in the comments below. Let me also know if you've got any of these books or anything different. There was a different one that I saw and I can't remember what it was, but it was like a logic puzzle type, and I tried looking for it yesterday and I couldn't find it. But I like doing the, what are they called? Like nonogram type thing. Oh, Clyde. I like doing like the nonogram puzzles. You okay? My dog's coughing. And I'm sure, okay, I'm sure this type of puzzle that I remember seeing ages ago was along those lines, but I never got around to getting a book. Right. I'm going to try and look on YouTube and see if I can figure out what it was that I watched. And what it was called, because I would really like to do it. Anyway, I'm going to head off and see what this mad boy wants. It's not, oh, and there's Willa. It's not coffee, because you've had my coffee already. Don't know what they're after. Anyway, thanks for watching this. If you've enjoyed it, please do hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Talk to me in the comments below, and I'll see you in our next one. Thanks everyone. Bye.